While making these types of videos, I always wondered, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I making this video speaking my mind? And starting a channel, my goal was, of course, to get views and monetize it later and become a content creator or whatever that lifestyle brings to you. But doing this without fail every day, unless there are certain complications which do not allow me to do so, has forced me to develop a why on and doing whatever I can. What I mean is the surface level desire of wanting a lifestyle or a certain level of status does not cannot sustain the consistency and the persistence that is required by me in an environment I am currently in to speak in YouTube and speak in front of a screen for a prolonged period of time. During this moment in my life, I've been going through many ups and downs. I had been in a trip for 5 days and I completely lost track of what I was doing. And even currently, I am not able to get the path back on track. I tend to procrastinate, and that procrastination leads to more and more procrastination. And it's more of just thinking, thinking, and thinking. Couple that with the fact that I have been doing less of what I used to do. I've been feeling less motivated. So again, I have to start from scratch and learn all the things that I was working on again and just start implementing it over again. So that is what I have to do. But for today, let's talk about a continuation from our yesterday's video. Yesterday, we did talk a lot about the human consciousness and the semi-divine capability of human consciousness to understand himself and others on the same level as him. And we went into the depth of why humans tend to be more mm, caring towards animals rather than themselves. What I found very interesting is that humans are such a interesting part of God's creation that, excuse me, I am hearing a voice. I mean, it's 1:30 at night in here and I'm hearing a voice. Oh well, whatever. Good to get back on track. Humans are such interesting creatures that their own consciousness, which makes them narcissistic and self-centered, also makes them self-conscious and self-disgusted by themselves. They think of themselves as the fallen, the ones that ate the forbidden fruit and still cannot accept the fact that they ate the forbidden fruit. The question to ponder over more is that when Adam came in front of God, stuttering and barely able to walk with pride, was he really worried about his nakedness or was he worried about not following what God said? What if you think about it? What could have Adam felt at the moment when he kept thinking to himself, oh, when his consciousness came to being that he was naked and he was imperfect standing in front of the perfect. He became imperfect because he did what God told him not to do. It could have been a combination of both. And us as humans go to such length to diminish the capability of consciousness. It's frightening. There is a reason why alcohol is so famous as an antidepressant among people. There is a reason why in clubs and bars the lights are low. There is a reason why in concerts you dance till you feel numb. There is a reason why feeling numb is a great sensation for humans. And every reason points to the same thing, to diminish our consciousness, to diminish our capability of self-thinking. But why should you not do that? I mean, I know it's bad to drink alcohol, it's bad to go to clubs and parties and everything, but why? Let's question it. Let's think from the first principles without making any assumptions. So, in order to answer that, let's look at our fundamental beliefs and how we carry it onto our future self. Now, us as humans, we do have a future and we do keep thinking about it because we have consciousness and we do keep worrying about it. So, whenever we drink alcohol or indulge in any diminishing sense of self activities, we tend to forget ourselves. And we tend to forget that we are flawed. The key here, word here is forget. We do not accept ourselves, we just forget that we are flawed. And that gives us a sense of comfort, which allows us to live our life. But the intrinsic subconscious belief that we are flawed doesn't go away. The next day, when we are sober, when we wake up in the sun, when we wake up to the light, we feel bad, we feel worse. And that feeling of bad, worse, and worst keeps piling up till it becomes a unbreakable staircase that no belief could ever climb up and break. Then you get humans who are filled with hatred, rage, and resentment. Those who get offended easily. And I'm sure you know how people in today's world are. Most of them like that, filled with rage inside them, resentment. The soul inside them dissatisfied. They're themselves dissatisfied about themselves, feeling frustrated that they are missing something in their life. That is not the way to live. That couldn't be the way to live. Because if so, then the entire humanity would collapse. There is no reason for humanity to exist if that's the way of living. If humans are so flawed, so imperfect, that the ecosystem doesn't need them, then why do they need to live? Extinction of whole mankind would be better, only living the innocent lives of animals and birds and the flora and fauna in the earth. So, what could be the purpose? What could be the purpose that God created us? Well, maybe we are never meant to be perfect. Maybe we just need to forgive ourselves for being imperfect. Maybe we are just us. Maybe we are just individuals with individual specific thoughts and emotions. They may not be ideal, but what would be the problem if we just accepted ourselves as we are and do the things we were supposed to do without getting into the depressing spiral of losing our sense of self? What if we could accept ourselves as we are and accept God as how He is and become ready to forgive ourselves for what imperfections we have so that we can walk our chest held high and our eyes looking straight with God again in the Garden of Eden and the sword of judgment and raging with fire cannot crush us into bits and ashes and devour us into the depths of hell created by our own guilt and deficiencies and insufficiencies. As Nietzsche once said, the God is dead. But I believe, although he was right, but he was half right. It is true that the external God is dead. What if you read the Upanishads and the Ashtavakra Gita? They describe God as being within oneself. If we perceive the reality according to us, if we perceive the universe as according to us, then how is it that God is any different from us? How is it that God exists outside of us? God is omnipresent. How can you ever think that your God is present outside of you? He is present inside of you and everywhere near you. But the point here to focus is that He is present inside of you. The man who narrated Ashtavakra Gita was a man who was deformed in 8 places. He walked with a stick, entered the king's courtroom, and every minister and every diplomat sitting in the king's chamber laughed at him for looking ridiculous. Then he sat down in front of everyone and said, I will tell you the truth about this world. And he, who was so imperfect that you could never be so imperfect, made so many men, so many diplomats, so many intelligent people bow down to his knowledge. Why can't you? These are just my talkings and sayings of what I think are true. They may sound a bit abstract, they may sound very disconnected to each other, but they are the truth coming out of my mind. Even though I do not have a structure, I do have the substance. So listen to it. And there is a reason why I talk in abstractions rather than structure. It is to get your thinking. So think, and uh, that is how you win. And forgive yourself as this sinner of what you are to stand with God.